Absolutely, and I think you can get different conditions at this race, obviously. Some years it's more windy, other years when the wind's down, the heat comes really into play in the marathon, and I think a race like this, there's much less margin for error with your hydration and trying to keep your core body temperature down and also in your nutrition, and I think it pays big dividends when there's not a lot of cloud cover and it's very hot, just to be a little conservative along a Leahy drive.
So as we look at our women's leader here, we've got Jan Frodeno on our right, Daniela Reef on the left-hand side. Jan Frodeno started with less than a minute lead on the bike today, Craig. Now it has gone out to 1 minute and 50 seconds. And now, actually, it's just gone out to 2 minutes. So it's getting a little bit larger here. Sebastian Kinley has now slipped back to 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So Jan Frodeno is having it all of his own way, but he has a habit of running out really quick out of transition.
Yeah, I think that's his background. He's a short course guy, but he's quality. He's a quality athlete, and if he doesn't win today, he's going to win this race multiple times.
Number 2, cost.
I think he learned a lot on his debut last year, and I don't think it's unusual to see the top few just yo-yo in and out with their splits a little bit.
Craig, where are we right now?
They're just coming around a hot corner, so I think they've just passed mile 10. I think Jan's split is roughly an hour or just over, so he's running close to 6-minute miles or 3:45 per kilometre pace. I think he's on pace for 3:56 is his average, so I think he's running well, and it's very hot out there now. He's taken the sharp ride, and this is, in my opinion, the toughest hill on the course. There's no shade. You're not quite at halfway yet, and it's a very steep uphill, and Jan's a big guy, but it's early stages in this race. I'm interested in T.O., he's right up there, and I'm also looking at Hoff, Nico Lanos and Brent McMahon, I think, are the big movers, as is Frederick Van Leer. I was standing up near the pool. They looked very comfortable coming in on the bike.
Yeah, I agree with you. And right now, given those times, it's around about a 2:44 to 2:45 run split out there to go with his 4:28 plus today. So not bad times out there. It was a little windy, but not too bad on the bike today.
I think the fastest bike split was Mikey Twelzik, who rode a 4:25. He just outsplit Sebastian, and they're amazing bike splits, and what I've noticed, I think the temperature's going up. I think this is going to be a very, very hot marathon. It's always tough. You get either heat or wind or a combination of both.
Craig, we usually have overcast conditions, a little bit of, just relief from the sun along a Leahy drive, but today you can't see any of that. Out onto the Queen K Highway right now, Queen Kaumana Highway, where Jan is just about to go. There is no protection whatsoever. Like you said, this is going to be a very hot day. Very important to keep that core temperature down. Now, Jan's been going through these aid stations and picking up large bottles of water and just chugging them and putting them over his body right now, trying to keep it cool. Now, apart from that, Craig, how is it possible to get yourself to the top of Palani Hill in good shape?
I always found at this race it was a little different to others. I changed my technique a little bit, lower knee lift.
Shorten your stride?
Much shorter stride, less drive out the back. And it's all about core body temperature, ingesting as much fluid as you can and pouring that water over your head. I mean, this race is about body management rather than, fitness comes into play, but, these guys are Jan, as we speak, is about to turn left onto the Queen K. He's about 2 miles or 3 kilometres from halfway into this marathon. He's stopping to walk through, which I don't think is a bad tactic. I think you would give up a few seconds of your pace to keep that core body temperature cool. We've seen Jan do this before. I think this is normal, and I actually think it's a great strategy. I have noticed there is some cloud cover coming in, so I think these guys and girls may get a little respite towards the back half of the marathon.
So, Craig, electrolytes and sodium depletion and, management as well. Gatorade Endurance is a formula that's been especially done around, events like this, or, it was especially formulated for the Gators down in the University of Florida football team. Because of all the sweat loss and sodium depletions and electrolyte depletions, it's probably the best drink that you can get out there, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think actually another strategy that I think is very, very effective on a course like this and in these conditions is really dial your pace down on the uphills. Stay right in control, bring the heart rate down, and if you're feeling good, work the pace on the flats and the downhill sections. And these guys are experienced. Someone like Freddie Van Leer has raced here many times, as has Seb. So I think that's a strategy these guys will employ. As we watch now, Jan's making that right-hand turn onto the Queen K. So now he's got a big downhill section, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to his pace. For me, he still looks good. I think he still looks good and in control. No doubt it's hot out there, and I think he's monitoring that and dialing back his pace accordingly.
Yeah, he does look good, and let's just dial it back to July, where he was in the Ironman European Championship in Frankfurt, where he was going through those aid stations and stopping just like he did a moment ago, and just dousing his head in the water and just making sure that he's, good to go. I thought, that he was in trouble when I was looking at that on live coverage in July, but now I'm looking at it going, I just think that was a guy that was in control of his body.
I think it was a strategy. I mean, people respond differently in the heat, and let's be honest, no one really likes racing in the heat. Some just deal with it and try and do the things physiologically to help themselves. I think it was a strategy. He's a bigger guy. He's going to generate a lot of heat, and I think it was something he discussed with a lot of people. I know how professional Jan is, and it was a strategy they'd used. We've also seen him in races stick his head and his upper body into the ice bucket at aid stations. So I think it's a conscious, calculated decision to slow the pace through the aid stations and try and cool the core body temperature.
He's on a slight decline at the moment when he's going down on the Queen Kaumanu Highway down toward Makala Road. When he goes around to the right-hand side, it flattens out a little bit and starts to go up a hill a touch. When they get down to Honakahu Harbour, they've got a bit of a climb again up to the Energy Lab. Then it goes down into the Energy Lab. So it's a little bit undulating. It's not completely flat out there.
Yeah.
This will probably help someone like Jan Frodeno. He's got a long stride.
Absolutely. I think it'll help him break his stride and his muscle firing pattern up a little bit. He still looks great to me. It's not a flat course. That was the first thing I noticed when I came out here to race the first time. It's a challenging course, and these guys, once they hit the Queen K, there is absolutely no shelter to be had out there. So I always felt it was the cooler part of the course, though, because you did get the breeze. You are exposed to the sun, but the trade-off was the breeze would hit you. So
it's like a swamp running down on Li'i Drive, and man, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. You've done this a few times, mate.
Well, I used to do my homework. I prided myself on preparing the right way, so hopefully.
That's good. We're really happy to have you, Craig. And also, the other night you had a major announcement to make, and that was the 2016 Ironman 70.3 World Championships. Where is this going to be held?
It's coming down under next year on the 4th of September to Mooloolaba in Queensland on the Sunshine Coast. And yeah, I look forward to, it's great for all athletes in the region, Asia Pacific, and particularly Aussie athletes, to be able to have a home world championships. And I would encourage the world to come down and join us. You won't be disappointed. It's an absolutely magic part of the world.
You're thinking about donning the Speedo and tickling your toes in the salt water of Mooloolaba?
I'll don the Speedos, and I might have a bit of surfing in race week and maybe some fishing, and I'll take in all the local tourist attractions and be happy to sit next to you and comment on these legends and great athletes as they run around.
Well, I'd be happy to do that with you because I absolutely love Mooloolaba down there. The 4th of September. 2016 for the Ironman 70.3 World Championship is coming your way. We just finished off 6 weeks ago in Zelmsee, Austria, and what a great event that was. Now we head toward Australia. Jan Frodeno continues to lead, following the lead car out there on the Queen Kaumanu Highway. Now Jan is at 11 miles onto the run course, and Craig, he's got another, 15 miles or so to run. Coming up to about that halfway mark, it gets pretty tough.
Yeah, it's certainly not flat out there. What I'm noticing with the splits that we're getting is Andy Raylett is making a big push. And he has a history of doing this, particularly in the middle part of the marathon. He seems to be holding the fastest average pace, and he's made up considerable time. So there is a long way to go. For me, I think Jan's still completely in control. Yeah, Andy's running 320 per kilometre pace at the moment, which is...
That's insane.
In this heat, it's fast. But Andy's a guy who's raced here for a decade, so he's an experienced guy and he knows what to expect. For mine, I'm still liking the look of Jan. I love the way he's looking. He's just a beautiful athlete to watch in all three disciplines. Let's see what he does here through the aid stations. He's going to take some ice, some water. He's getting some electrolytes. He's getting some Gatorade in, and I love this strategy. He's slowing right down and maybe giving a little time back on his average pace, but he's bringing his core body temperature down. So, this is going to serve him well later in the race.
Yeah, all right, Craig. We'll leave it at that. And as Andy Rayler's making a big push, we want to thank you for dropping in and speaking with us today. We'll see you a little bit later on. I know you're out tonight to go back to your wonderful family in Australia. It's the first time that you've been here without your family.
Yeah, no, it is. I've always had them here when I raced, and it's the first time I've been here and not raced on the Big Island. But I've enjoyed the week. I kind of feel like I don't deserve to go to the after party. That's for the athletes, and so I'm going to head home and watch my daughter race in her state athletics carnival. I'm looking forward to that, but it's always great to hang out with you, legend.
All right, mate. Okay, Craig. Well, Craig Alexander, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the sport of Ironman triathlon. He is a 5-time world champion. We want to thank him for his time today. The All-World Athlete Program is Ironman's way of rewarding the age group athletes' hard work, dedication and performance. Let's take a look at this.